Hello everybody, it is Emery48 here, and today's video is on Star Wars The Old Republic, Annihilation. This book was written by Drew Karpyshyn, and it was $7 for price. It takes place in 3640 BBY, which is 1 year after the last battle of Colonel Jace Malcolm. Prologue. Master Shan giving birth to a boy. Master Nagani Zoe was helping her through the delivery. She has given the baby up to Master Zoe so that her own judgments will not be distracted by the child while she fights the Sith. She has named the boy Theron. Chapter 1. Theron was on Nar Shaddaa to rescue Tepith from Morbo the Hutt. He ran into another SIS Republic operative who was on a mission of surveillance on Morbo. The SIS director told Theron to leave Nar Shaddaa, but did not tell him about the mission SIS was running there. Chapter 2. Theron went to talk to Morbo in his club. He was not allowed to speak to him because there was an auction going on. Theron covertly rescued the Republic soldiers who were the items up for auction. He then asked Morbo to take the hit off of Tepith. He said it was already underway at the spaceport. Chapter 3. Theron stole a swoop bike from a gang member. 2 others chased him down for some time, but he was able to evade them. Theron arrived at the spaceport where Tepith was already starting her mission. She said that something felt off. Her partner in this mission is Gorvich, who she describes as an idiot. Fryn and Veb are also working with Tepith and Gorvich. Fryn was killed by assassins as he did not believe anyone was after them. Tepith is going to try to flank their attackers as only 2 have been spotted so far. Theron did not want to run straight into the firefight, so he went through the same flank path Tepith was planning to use. Theron killed the assassin, waiting for anyone to use that exit. Theron hid with the dead assassin as Tepith came into the hangar. She did not notice him on the ground and continued her way around to flank the 2 assassins in the original hangar. Chapter 4. Tepith found a loader with an engine on it. She moved it to a position between the assassins and their ship. Gorvich was able to shoot one of the assassins when they stepped out to get an angle on Tepith. Veb went into the ship to get the engine started. The final assassin threw a detonator. Gorvich, Tepith, and the assassin were all dizzy from the explosion. Veb came out and shot the final assassin. Veb, Gorvich, and Tepith escaped in their ship. Theron left the spaceport when he saw Tepith enter the hangar with a loader, as he was confident Tepith had the situation under control. Chapter 5. The director of SIS, Marcus Trant, met with Supreme Commander of the Republic military, Jace Malcolm. Jace is planning a joint mission between SIS, the military, and the Jedi to take down the Ascendant Spear. The Spear is an Imperial ship commanded by Malgus' former apprentice, Darth Carid, who was also a fallen Jedi. The Spear is so advanced, the Republic does not know its full capabilities. The Spear has inflicted more damage than the next 10 most effective Imperial ships combined. Jace wants a list of agents Marcus thinks can help in this mission the most. Chapter 6. The Dark Council is debating who should fill the role for leader of the technology sphere on the Dark Council. Darth Marr, member of the Dark Council, put Darth Carid forward as an option. Darth Gravis is the other candidate, providing he successfully takes back what his fleet lost to the Republic. Darth Marr told Darth Carid the news of the meeting. Chapter 7. Theron had a meeting with Marcus Trant. Theron has been moved to the analytics department to keep him out of the field for a little. However, he will be working on Operation Endgame, which is what Jace wants a few agents to be working on. Chapter 8. Darth Carid took the spear to Darth Gravis' battle. She told him only one of them was to leave the battle. To justify killing Gravis, she waited until he fired upon the Ascendant spear. She then wiped out the Republic and Imperial fleet, including Darth Gravis. Chapter 9. Tepith called Theron's apartment once she realized he had been helping her survive multiple times She wants him to stop. One place she mentioned, Zeost, Theron had never been before and jotted it down as a possible option for Operation Endgame. The Dark Council now seems to be unified in agreement that Darth Caird should be a member of the Dark Council. They all want to try to turn her to be their political ally. Chapter 10. Jace has chosen Theron as the SIS agent to put on Operation Endgame. The Jedi the Council has chosen to put forward for Operation Endgame is Master Nostril. Nosterol was Caird's master before she went to the dark side and studied under Malgus. Chapter 11. Davidge, the Minister of Logistics for the Empire, requested Darth Caird bring the Ascendant Spear to the Boronau system to stop the system from falling to the Republic. He was asked to do this by Darth Mar without Darth Caird knowing of Mar's involvement. Davidge convinced Caird by playing up to her importance of Imperial research facilities in the system and playing to her new role on the Dark Council in charge of technology. Chapter 12. Theron, Marcus, Nosterol, and Jace all met to discuss the plans for the first phase of Operation Endgame. They are planning to steal the Minister of Logistics' Black Cipher and replace it with a damaged one the Republic have found. They will do it under a disguise of a terrorist attack on the building. Jace has requested Theron to meet him in private before the mission begins. Chapter 13. Jace told Theron that he is his father. They both took some time thinking about the awkward conversation. Theron reached out to Tepith to see if she had a contact that could assist them on Zeost. She is going to set up a meeting. Chapter 14. Nosterol and Theron arrived on Zeost. They have met with Tepith's contact, Vin. They have asked him to acquire some more technology so they can bypass the security system. Nosterol wants Theron to keep a low profile while Vin gets the materials they need. Chapter 15. Nosterol and Theron are planning on convincing the Empire there is going to be a full-scale invasion of Zeost in order to get into the office. Theron started a fight with an officer, Presic, from the Orbital Defense Command Center. Theron was beat up badly by Presic and 3 other officers, but he was able to get a copy of Presic's badge and retinal scan. Nostril and Theron are ready to leave the apartment to begin the heist on the Orbital Defense Command Center. Chapter 16. Nostril has been tasked with knocking out the power so Theron can get into the ODCC without being spotted on the security cameras. Nostril placed explosives at 3 different locations to ensure a blackout of the ODCC. There were only guards posted at one of the stations, which Nostril took out using blaster and poison gas to not show a Jedi was responsible. Theron has broken into the ODCC and took out the 5 guards in his path because of the lockdown. Once in the minister's office, he found the room that would likely have the Black Cipher. There was a door with a number pad, and Theron did not have the code. Chapter 17. Nosterol called in a tip to the Imperial garrison stationed next to the ODCC, telling them the minister's life was in danger, also mentioning that there were explosives being planted in his office. When Theron was late to the rendezvous point, Nosterol entered the ODCC the same way Theron had. Nosterol was able to take out a 5-man Imperial squad led by Captain Presic, as he took them by surprise while they were advancing towards Theron, pinned in the minister's office. Nosterol then used his lightsaber to help Theron get to the communications room in the Black Cipher. Nosterol did have to use his lightsaber to fend off a second Imperial squad. Theron and Nosterol escaped to the roof and jumped using parachute and the Force as the building exploded from the detonators Theron had planted in the minister's office. Chapter 18. Minister Davidge has relocated to a less secure office on the other side of the ODCC. He now has a security detail. Davidge has reported to Darth Mar using the spare Black Cipher from the basement of the ODCC. The Empire believes the Black Cipher was damaged in the explosion. Darth Mar wants Davidge to determine the best planet to invade to show that the Empire is still mighty and powerful. Jace and the SIS director have planned for Theron and Nosterol to set a virus into the Ascendant Spear when it docks. Theron and Nosterol are going to reach out to Tepith to get some materials for this mission. Satele Shan wants to meet with Theron before they depart for the mission. Chapter 19. Theron visited Satele. The conversation turned more into an argument, and Theron left in annoyance after Satele explained her view on Jace, turning slightly to the dark side. She tried to warn Theron of it. It has put Theron in a weird place between two parents in disagreements. Satele remembered the night that Jace got so angry and revengeful towards the Empire that she knew she would have to give up her child and not tell Jace about him. She has also decided that she has kept both Jace and Theron out of her life for this long, and it is too late to go back on that choice now. Chapter 20. Theron and Nosterol are headed for Dragani Port on Deservo to find Tepith. Theron and Nosterol found Tepith at the Crooked Finger with Veb, another member of the old Tion Brotherhood. Tepith has agreed to set up a meeting with Gorvich, their boss, to discuss the plan in helping the Republic get on an Imperial base. Chapter 21. Tepith said the meeting would be in 3 days. She sent Theron and Nosterol to a terrible hotel. Once they arrived, Theron got a call from the director informing him that the spear was going to land the next day and stay docked for 2 days. Theron and Nosterol went back to the Crooked Finger to have Tepith bring them to Gorvich immediately. When Theron revealed they did not have 40,000 credits, only 30,000 credits, Gorvich made Tepith go with Theron and Nosterol. Chapter 22. Theron, Nosterol, and Tepith landed on Reaver Station. While locating someone to take a badge from to board the spear, Theron overheard a news broadcast. It announced the successful Imperial attack by Moff Nezer on Ruan, a farming planet for Coruscant. Theron thought the mission was compromised because the Republic did not stop the attack, even though black ciphers would have been used to coordinate the attack. Theron went back to the shuttle and created a secure line to call the director. He found out that Jace and the director knew about the attack, but did nothing to stop it, to not tip off the Empire. They also know of another attack on Duro, an industrial planet which is heavily populated by civilians. They are also planning on doing nothing to prevent this attack. Theron was shocked by this news. It reminded him of Satele's warning of Jace. Chapter 23. Theron and Nosterol do not want to allow a massacre to occur on Duro. Theron has sent Tepith back to Dragani Port to take Nosterol's ship to Coruscant. Tepith is going to inform Satele what just happened. Satele will then have to convince Jace and the director that the spear will be at Duro and the Republic fleet needs to meet it there with an ambush. Nostril is going to find Carid, his former Padawan, and convince her that she and the spear are going to be needed at Duro if the Empire is going to win the battle. Theron is going to go forward with his part of the original plan. With Tepith leaving in the shuttle, both Theron and Nosterol do not have a way off Reaver Station. Nosterol pretended to be a Sith Lord in order to board the spear. Once aboard, though, he took out 4 troops waiting for him out of the turbolift. He arrived at Carid's room on the ship. She was accompanied by 2 Sith apprentices. Chapter 24. Theron was not going to be able to board the spear because after Nosterol got on, security clamped down. Theron went into the control room that was unoccupied because a few ports were closed due to the size of the spear. He hacked into the early warning beacons and made it look like a Republic fleet had just come out of hyperspace at the edge of the sector. This caused alarms to go off in Reaver Station. Nostril was never going to be able to win the duel, especially with 12 Imperial troops entering the room. They stunned him and will bring him to Imperial interrogators. Just after Nostril was stunned, the alarm went off. That was caused by Theron. Theron made it to the engine room of the spear as it began to take off from the sea wing of Reaver Station. Chapter 25. Tepith arrived back on Dragani Port. She was able to get away from Gorvich and take Nosterol's ship. She is now en route to Coruscant. Marcus, the director, and Jace have sent a few patrol ships to Duro to limit some casualties. They both agree that the right choice has been made, but Marcus said he doesn't think he could have made it had he been in Jace's shoes. Chapter 26. Theron has sliced into the Ascendant spear from its engine room. He is learning it is much more complicated a vessel than SIS had ever guessed. He is taking the time he has to try and determine the best way to sabotage the ship while the ship is in battle. Nostril is being tortured by Carrid and Imperial interrogators. This torture tricks the mind into feeling pain, but keeps the person alive as no damage is ever done to the physical body. It was designed by Darth Mekis, the designer of the Ascendant Spear. Darth Carrid is going to begin training 2 new additions to her crew, Lord Quux and Lord Ordez. Chapter 27. Tepith made it to Coruscant. She kidnapped the guards in order to convince them and their superiors to get in contact with Satele. Master Shan arrived at Tepith's landing dock soon after. Chapter 28. Theron has been able to develop a couple different ways he can hinder the spear while in battle. He has saved them for later use. He has discovered that Nosterol is still alive in a cell. He hopes getting captured was part of Nosterol's plan, as there is nothing Theron can do for him now. Nostril has been tortured to the brink of insanity. The Sith apprentice has seen this and offered to bring back Darth Carrid. Nostril has said he will talk. Nosterol has tricked Carrid into bringing the spear to Duro. The Ascendant Spear has begun preparations to go into hyperdrive and head for Duro. The only thing left now is to Jace to set an ambush. Chapter 29. Satele was able to convince Jace to send a Republic fleet to Duro. Jace and Satele will accompany the fleet. Jace is taking Tepith with him just in case she is some Imperial spy. Theron is surprised by how fast the spear is going. He realizes that the spear gets more power and efficiency out of Darth Carrid than it does its actual engines. Chapter 30. Moff Nezzer has arrived at Duro, expecting limited or no defenses. What he found was a full Republic fleet firing on him as they came out of hyperspace. The spear did not arrive with Nezzer's fleet, allowing the much larger Republic fleet time to focus on Nezzer's capital ship. Nezzer does not want to accept dying in an ambush, so he has set a course for the nearest orbital city. Jace ordered all ships to fire at Nezzer's capital ship, attempting to destroy it before it hit a city. The remaining Imperial fleet began a retreat. The spear entered the system where part of the Imperial fleet was retreating. She saw the capital ship was still attempting some damage to the Republic, so she destroyed the Imperial fleet for escaping and their cowardice. Theron was able to put one of his saved spikes against the targeting system. This made the first flurry of shots miss the Republic fleet. This miss allowed the fleet to get into range for their own weapons. The Republic fleet was able to take out Nezzer's capital ship before it hit an orbital city. Theron was able to successfully impact the targeting system and shields on the spear. This allowed for a few free hits by the Republic fleet. Theron also shut off the spear's external sensors. While Carrid was blind to the outside, she was able to sense the intruder hacking in the engine room. She can now sense his next hack, allowing her to fix it before it impacts the spear. She has sent security to the engine room. The spear made an evasive maneuver and is now ready to attack the Republic fleet. Jace has put in a call for reinforcements, even though the closest ships were hours away. He has ordered the fleet to stay away and pull evasive maneuvers. He wants to drag the battle to see if there is anything else Theron and Nosterol can do from the inside. Chapter 31. Theron is trying to come up with an alternative, as it is only a couple of minutes until security will arrive at the engine room. Theron was able to free Nosterol from the engine room. Nosterol killed the 2 interrogators and the Sith apprentice. Theron and Nosterol have made it to Carrid's command room. Chapter 32. Carrid felt her 3 apprentices no longer adding power to the spear. She could sense the battle going on just outside her pod. She also felt Theron trying to hack from inside the command center. The spear was now targeting Jace's command ship. Nosterol has defeated 1 of the 3 Sith apprentices so far. Theron sent false damage reports into the command pod to open it by starting its emergency response system. Carrid screamed as the wires came out of her, and she started moving towards Theron with murder in her eyes. Moff Lorman of the Ascendant Spear did not want to take control immediately, as he was unsure of Darth Cared's plan. The Republic fleet took advantage of the Spear's lack of fire. Moff Lorman called for an abandoned ship, as the entire Republic fleet was overwhelming the Spear. Chapter 33. As Cared began moving towards Theron, the Spear began to take heavy damages. Cared raced back into her command pod. Theron pulled the trigger on his already damaged pistol and threw it into the pod just before the doors closed. While in between her legs, the pistol exploded. Nostril convinced the two remaining Sith apprentices to call this duel a draw, so all could get out. They both ran out of the room. Shortly after, Nostril and Theron made their way to the turbo lifts. Theron and Nostril took Cared's personal escape pod. Shortly after jettisoning the pod, the Ascendant Spear blew up. Theron and Nostril's escape pod landed in Jace's command ship. Jace, Satele, and Tepith were all waiting for their arrival. Theron was still naked from his time in the hot engine room, and Nosterol was still naked from his time in the interrogation room. Epilogue. Theron did not attend the debrief of the mission that also included Nosterol, Marcus, Jace, and Satele. He did send a hollow message to Jace apologizing for missing the meeting, but offered to take Jace up on the previous drink offer. Theron paid Tepith the 10,000 credits he promised her for delivering the message. He also offered her a job with SIS. She passed and told him to stop spying on her. After she left the hotel room, he said that is just what family does. Now, for me, I really enjoyed this book. I liked the characters throughout, and it was nice with the short stories. We got some background in most of the characters already. Unfortunately, I don't... Actually, no, there are a few things with some of these characters later on, but not too much, so we don't hear too much more from them. Overall, I thought it was a really good book, and like most of these, they're about $7, so it's a solid read for that cheap. Gives me some good entertainment. If you have any comments on this or anything else, please let me know down below. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.